Hey everyone, in this video I want to show you an atlas strategy which is based around haste, also expedition, as well as alva in incursion, and also a little bit chance for delirium. So this is going to be the results for that. So first of all, I'm going to show you the strategy. I went 3 sacrifice pieces, 1 gilded expedition scrap, which was 5.5 chaos. I always crafted on map device haste, which is for 6 chaos. I also had compasses. One of them gives me another smoother sketch, which that is the haste thing, and also another compass which guarantees that all the contracts will have another implicit. For example, yeah, this is the implicit. Um, the thing that is right here. So the reason why I did this compass is because it's going to be easier to sell it. So that's that. And yeah, that's all. So it's 5 chaos here. This is maybe like 1 chaos, maybe not even, no, not even 1 chaos. So it's pretty much nothing. So 5.5 here. Then, where is it? This compass was like 1 point something, 1.3. This compass was 2.5, so it's 2.5, 3.5, uh, for 9. Yeah, it's like 9 chaos and also haste. It's like 15 and some map rolling, the sacrifice fragments, and well, in the end, it is like around 20 to 22 chaos based on my previous calculations. So in Atlas, everything looked like here, like this, but instead I went for Searing Exarch just to test out the earnings, and I was surprised how terrible it was. I'm not sure if it was just because of Searing Exarch, but it was probably by the map. I was running this map, cemetary, and I was getting very low amount of altars. And also, for some reason, expedition was terrible here. I'm not sure if it was just unlucky streak, but yeah, I did 40 cemeteries, and this was one of the worst expeditions I ever had. Uh, I'm used to like having average low expedition of like 20 chaos for rewards, but in this case, 20 chaos I would be like lucky for to have it. And I was like getting sometimes like 30 to 40 chaos, sometimes 60, 100 chaos. But no, I was just very unlucky all the time. And I don't think it was just about luck. I think that it had something to do with the with the map, but I'm not exactly sure how it's possible. So in the end, you can see that I have a whole lot of contracts. So yeah, you get a lot of contracts if you have like 4 haste chests, maybe more each map. You get some unique contracts, which also don't hold much value. You get some blueprints, which also seem to be very cheap. I also get some rope markers. I used some of these. I had 70,000, which in total are like over divine, like 1.2 divine. I got some interesting, how is it called? The Alva rooms, the Temple rooms. This one is 130 chaos, and this one is 200 chaos almost. I got some logbooks, but as you can see, I was quite unlucky. I got only a few of them. Like for having like 40 maps, I would expect like 15 logbooks at least, but I got like 8 or something, so it was very unlucky. You can see that for some reason I was dropping a lot of Astragali, but it seems that Astragalis are dropping in higher quantity than anything. And no, I'm not favoring Astragali, I'm favoring coin exchange as well as Merion, but I didn't get as many of them. I got decent amount of coin exchange, I mean, exotic exchange, which this one is like 1.9 divine. When it comes to stack decks, most of them were dropping from the expedition pretty much exclusively. And I got, how much is it? 60 stacks, 3, 4, 5, almost 60 stack decks, which is 10 is 25. So yeah, that's a decent amount of chaos there. I also got some essences, somewhere from the normal ascent, somewhere from the expedition. I also got some life force. Uh, I think that this was from two harvests. I know that I was getting very low amount of money, so in total this is like 30 chaos, not even. I got some amount of the Eldritch Embers. I also got some invitations. So this one is 150 chaos, this one is 3 chaos it seems. Delirium orbs also very cheap. Yeah, one lucky divine. So nothing really special here. And what I was also doing is pretty much every single map I did Crucible. I didn't do Crucible in one map, I think, but in most of them I did Crucible, and I got a lot of these geodes. And as you can see, I have a lot of these items. What I'm using, usually dealing with them or doing with them, is that I am selling all of them for a certain price. If it is way undervalued, well, yeah, if it's way undervalued, I will get spam so that I will not sell it and I will increase the price accordingly. And if the item lays there and someone wants it, I just sell it without even looking at it. So that is how I do it. And you can see I have here a lot of potential items that are able to be sold. Maybe some of them has some higher value. So I will try to do that. I was also using trinket, which is not this one. It was trinket for this chance to replicate robo markers from smuggler sketches. So it gave me 10% more markers on average. And yeah, this is the result. So it is hard to navigate it, so I will go to here and show you what are the actual results. So I have divided into two sections. This one is normal drops, and the Eldritch. Well, the red altars are kind of like present here. For example, a lot of sextants drop from that. But not only from that. The sextant can drop pretty much everywhere. But some sextants drop from the red altars. So here are all the rewards. And it is almost 70 vines. And this is pretty much just from the normal mapping and also the red altars. Without the really specific red altar things. Now, I have kind of put everything here. This is my strategy, Gilded Scrap, Smuggler's Patch, Sextant. Also, I did Smuggler's Patch on the map device. And Alva, I did 40 maps. It was exactly 5 hours, which is map plus hideout time. Uh, so yeah, it is pure 5 hours. Time per map is 7.5 minutes. Investment per map is 22 chaos. In total, I'm not sure if this is right because I was planning to do 100 maps, but in the end I did 40 because the strategy was terrible for some reason. I blame the map, but I'm not sure about it. The expedition average playtime was 2 minutes. It takes me like 1 minute to plan everything, to look on the ground, to see what to put where, and then the another minute is the expedition exploding, me killing stuff, and then picking up the rewards. So it is this amount of gain, this minus this amount of investment divided over each map, and the gain from each expedition was 22.7 chaos, which is way below what I would expect. I would expect having like 35 uh, earnings, like 35 chaos per expedition, but this seemed very low, and it seemed while playing that. When I'm playing expedition, I pay attention to how much money I take. Sometimes I make 20, sometimes 40, sometimes 60. Sometimes I'm very lucky and I get 120. Sometimes I'm very unlucky, which doesn't happen too much, and I got like 5 only. But during this 40 map session, I was getting very unlucky a lot of the time, so I'm not exactly sure how is it possible, but I'm not usually this unlucky. But it seemed that it wasn't just luck, it was probably because of the map. But I'm not sure how the cemetery would be too bad for expedition. It doesn't make much sense, it just felt weird to me. It felt like something changed, but yeah, the only thing that changed pretty much is the map. The expiration amount of like expiration return per hour, like 60 minutes divided by 2, the 2 minutes times 22, meaning that each hour makes 660 chaos, which is 3 divines. If I was doing only expeditions, which might seem good, might seem bad. For me, it seems bad. I thought it is way higher, and I still think it is. I just did. I just was gaining too little returns on my expedition for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure what is the reason. Now, the red alter reroll currency. I mean the red things that you can use on the implicit of items, plus the boss map, meaning that you do like multiple of maps and you get a boss map. That is in total 6 scales. I wasn't able to count into these scales and sextants because they can just drop from anything. But the things that are specific for like red altars average 6 scales per map. Now, when it comes to Alva Temple, this is hard to rely on because I did like in total like 7 Alva Temples, and 2 of them was quite expensive, and the rest of them was almost unusable. So this will require more testing if you are interested into it. So it takes me 20 seconds to do each incursion times 4 because we have 4 on map. And in total you spend like 80 seconds because of the temples. This is the amount of money I made. This is divided by amount of maps. And it's about 8.6 chaos per map, which is uh, if you like do return per hour, 1.75 divines. It is one of our worst returns. It will still higher than I thought, but yeah, it is quite terrible. Now let's do the heist, and this was really weird to me because I was investing a lot into it, but I wasn't really utilizing, or I don't know how to utilize the heist contracts. So I had 70,000 points, which is 1.4 divine, which is 308 chaos, which is a return of 7.7 chaos per map, but I was spending 10 chaos per map, meaning that each map I lost 2.3 chaos if I was only selling the coins. However, um, I also got 140 haste contracts and 45 unique contracts. And because I don't know how to price them, let's assume that everything is worth 1 chaos. I think that deception is worth more chaos. Let me. Yeah, I have here some deceptions. It seems like every maybe 10th, maybe 7th contract is deception, and because it has implicits, maybe it's like 3 chaos, maybe only 2. I'm not sure. But a lot of the uniques are selling for 2, so I'm like saying to myself, well, let's say that I will be able to sell everything for 1 chaos. When it comes to blueprints, the lowest price seems to be 4 chaos, and I'm not exactly sure how to price them, so let's say that it's 4 chaos. And in total, this, if sold, might have value of around 361. And in total return, if you factor in the negative return as well as the positive return per map, you have 6.7 chaos per map. And because you only spend 15 seconds because of the haste, because it takes like 3 seconds to use the haste chest and pick up everything, and you have like, let's say, 5 of the chests, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. It takes like 15 seconds to get 7 chaos per map. Uh, it yields you a return per hour if you were only doing haste, which you cannot because you need to do maps and stuff. But if you were only opening chests from haste, you would have 1,608 chaos each hour, which is 7.3 divines, which is the highest return. But the catch is that you need to sell everything. You need to sell the contracts, you need to sell the blueprints, and you need to do it in high quantity in order to make it worth it. It is also possible to do low investment, high strategy, because the six scales um, uh, for the two what's it called? Haste, smuggler sketches, yes. So six scales for two smuggler sketches is quite steep, and also I was paying 2.5 chaos just to have the implicits in the contract. So you could, instead of having like 4.5 um, smuggler sketches and having the implicit on that, you could go for like only 1.5 chaos with this extent, which guarantees you the haste contract. And you don't need to have the implicits, and you have lower return per map. You wouldn't like sell anything, let's say, or you would sell way less. But your spending would go down. So maybe some different haste strategy for just selling rogue markers, but not go all in might be better. Now, when it comes to Crucible, I was quite pleasantly surprised with this. It takes 10 seconds to charge it up to full, and it took me 20 more seconds to kill everything. So in total, I got 13 these geodes, each selling for 14 chaos, like going to 182 chaos. I got one crystalline geode, which was like 0.8 divines, which is 176 chaos. In total, I got this amount of money, which averaged to 9 chaos per map, which doesn't seem that like rewarding, but because it only took me 30 seconds and I had no problem with this, it was quite rewarding. Return per hour is 1074 chaos, which is almost 5 divines. 5 divines return per hour, and this is even before like trying to get any value from the items. The items, the crucible items that I have here. Some of them might be sellable and might sell for few divines. I'm asking for 2 divines. If it doesn't sell, I might lower the price. But the thing is that I got this return like for sure. Sometimes I die because the crucible is harder, but I get much higher return than pretty much anything. And I also added something extra. So Crucible is quite good league even while only using the Crucible trees on random items. Now I have put it into 2 places. The total league currency, which I got like only from leagues like the Haste, the Alva, the Red Ultras, and Expedition, is like 52 chaos per map, which doesn't seem that bad. It seems quite good, but each map takes 7 minutes. And to be exactly precise, the lead content took me 4 minutes. So for 4 minutes, I got 52 chaos, and also the normal maps without any leaks took me like, or usually takes me like 3.5 minutes, and I got 6.7 divines uh, in total. And when it comes to the amount of money per map, it's almost 40 chaos. So you can add it together. You can see that I got like, how much is it? 40, 52, 91 chaos. 91 chaos per map. And that is a return 3.06 divines per hour. Now, if you want to compare your speed to mine, in some cases, like for example, expedition, you cannot speed up the process too much. You still need to think about what you are doing, look around, and pick the best things. When it comes to mapping, you may increase it, but the mapping in this case is only the 3.5 minutes. You almost cannot increase the 4 minutes. It's much harder because the leak content is dependent on certain stuff. So this is it. I will want to do some more testing about expedition because I don't believe it's that bad. To me, it felt like the best league ever until I ran this test, and it was even before reading the results. I knew that I was getting almost nothing from expedition, and I was angry about it. I was also not getting almost anything from the altars. So I blame the map. I'm going to switch the map. I'm also going to switch the altars because they don't benefit my character too much. The red altars are killing me whenever I press flasks. So I'm going to change few things. Also going probably out of haste and definitely out of the high investment, high strategy because I don't know how to sell the contracts easily. I don't use the forbidden trove. I don't know how to use it yet. So definitely not high investment, high strategy, maybe low investment, I'm not sure. Crucible is definitely worth it if you are able to do it decently easily without dying too much. So, yeah, quite a few interesting things. So, that's it. Again, show you my inventory. So, yeah, lot of contracts here, some tier 16 maps. The interesting thing is not only that I didn't sustain the cemeteries, I didn't even sustain maps in general. This one, like big row, is 24, and I don't even have two rows. I have like two rows without 4, which is 24 plus 20 is 44. So I got 44 tier 16 maps, but they are random. They are not even like the map that I was running. So, yeah, not good strategy for sustaining. So thanks for watching. See you next time.